In this video, I'm going to be showcasing a tactic you guys can use to scoop up unlimited 90 overall most feared players for only 20,000 coins per card. So Salsa family, hope you guys are all having a wonderful Friday out there, and without further ado, let's get started with this method. Now, I want to be fully transparent with you guys at the start of the video. This method is going to require coins, but if you have the coins, this is something everyone's got to do. Now, essentially what we're going to be doing in the video is we're going to be completing a master set for one of these 92 overall most feared players, selling off the master cards and keeping ourselves the 90 overall BND players which we get in return. But it's not as simple as just going to the auction block, buying some 90 overall players and doing the set. There's a lot more to it that I got to explain in the video. And I think probably the easiest and most effective way for me to explain this method to you guys is by working backwards. So let's start it off right here by taking a look at the prices of these 92s. And once we know these prices, what we can kind of do is we can figure out how much the card sells for and divide that by 3 to figure out how much coins we should realistically be spending on each of the 90s. So right here, as you guys can see, it's looking like the most expensive 92 overall player right now is going to be the Derwin James player item, selling for a price of about 567k. What you guys should do is figure out the most expensive 92 in the market. Depending on when you're watching this and depending on your console, that could be different. But for me personally, it's looking like right now, strong safety Derwin James at 560,000 coins is the most expensive player. So that was step 1. Figure out the price of the 92 and divide that price by 3. So we know the card is selling for about 560 to 570. When we divide that by 3, that's giving us an answer of about 190k. It's a little bit less, but for the video, we'll use 190k because personally for me, I don't mind spending a little bit of coins out of pocket to get these 90s. Okay, step number 2. We know the price of the 92. We divided it by 3, and the reason why we divided it by 3 is because to do the set for the 92, you gotta get 390 overall players. So once you have that answer, which is 190k for us, now we know we can spend about 190k on these 90 overall players to do this set at the right price. And here's where the method starts to get a little bit interesting, because what you guys can do for option number 1 is you can simply go to the auction block and try and find 90 overall players at a price of 190k or less. As you guys can see, we see a Roquan Smith for 196, we see a Mike Gesicki for 197. Those are pretty good deals. But the thing about doing this alternative is the 90 overall players you buy from the auction block are the ones you're going to get in return from the set. So as you guys can see right here, if I maybe wanted to get myself the Aiden Hutchinson card, or maybe I wanted to get the Deebo Samuel wide receiver card, these players right here, they're selling for a more expensive price. And since they're selling at that more expensive price, it's going to be pretty tough to find those cards for 190k. So if you want this Deebo Samuel, it's going to be pretty tough to snipe him at 190. Now, if you're in that situation, here's kind of what you guys can do and what I decided to do. You can actually build these 90 overall sets for a pretty cheap price. Now, essentially, what you'll look to do is you're going to look to buy these 87 overall players for a price of about 40,000 coins. 40,000 divided by 4 is 160. You got to get a couple 84 overall players for about 15k, and when we do 160 plus 30, that's going to give you an answer of 190k. So yeah, those are kind of your two options. Option 1 is go on over and snipe a 90 overall player for about 190k. You can spend a bit more. Honestly, it's not the end of the world if you do. Option number 2 is come in and do a set for a 90, and the good thing about doing a set is you can pick any 90 you want. So if, let's say for example, I wanted the Deebo Samuel card, I could do the set for Deebo for like 190k instead of going on the auction block and trying to find the card for 190. It's going to be really rare to find those more wanted 90s for 190k. For some of the other 90s that people want a little bit less, you can find them at that price. For the cheapest Madden coins and 2k MT on the internet, check out my sponsor MMOEXP and use code SWIFT to checkout for 5% off. And yeah, just for proof right here, here is the my bid section in my binder. I won't lie, I was spending a little bit more than I wanted to on some of these 87s. The reason being because I'm actually out of town right now in Cuba and I'm literally hotspotting my PS5, so it's very tough to get snipes. It's pretty laggy. But for the 90 overall player, I found this Mike Gesicki for 187k, a pretty good deal. It's under 190, and then of course for the 84s, found them at 15k pretty easily. I was able to see a lot of 87s up for like 37, 38k, but again, my Wi-Fi was a little bit slow. Okay, so that's step number 2. Essentially what you're doing is you're trying to acquire 90 overall most feared players by any means possible for 190k or whatever number you end up coming up with. Let's say for example, the 92s are selling for more on Xbox, or maybe they're selling for more at a later date. Well, then you can spend a bit more on the 90s. But after we did our calculations, our number was 90,000 coins. And here we go. We already have the Mike Gesicki. In terms of the other 90s that I'm looking to get, I definitely want the Shaquille Griffin. I think the Shaquille Griffin is a baller at cornerback, so I'm most certainly going to be selecting him right here. This is going to be the first 90 we get. Again, we're doing the set for him, and we did this set for a bit more than 190k. I won't lie to you. And again, we definitely did this set for a touch more than 190k, but it wasn't like the 225k that some of these 90s are selling for. Now, before we do the second set for another 90 overall player, I did just wait and not buy my final 84 and my final 87, so I can show you guys that it's pretty easy to snipe these cards. As you can see, Curtis Samuel right there for 15k, we miss it, but there's a lot of other 84s up for about 15k. Noah Brown right here, we can take this one, and yeah, it's gonna be pretty easy to find our 84s for 15k. That's not challenging. And then for the 87 overall player right here, again, you're looking for about 40,000 coins. I don't mind spending more than 40k, to be honest. I don't mind spending like 43k. If you spend about 43k on these 87s, that's gonna mean you're dropping about 200,000 coins on the set, which for me personally, I don't really mind. I don't mind spending a little bit of coins to end up getting some of these 90s for cheap. So yeah, as you guys can see, 45k, I'll take it for James Robinson. My Wi-Fi is just so slow, but ultimately, I wanted to show you this filter right here so you guys can see that sniping these cards is possible, and there's gonna be quite a few of them popping up. Like every couple refreshes, you seem to see one for like 45k or under. Let's see if we can get one live in the video. Again, the Wi-Fi is really bad right here. In fact, I don't even have Wi-Fi. I'm like hotspotting my PlayStation with 2 bars of Cuban data, but 45k, can we take it from Marquise Brown? Let's see if we can, and it looks like we did. Okay, good. And quickly, before we talk about the next thing, if you are not yet subscribed to my YouTube channel, scroll down, click that red subscribe button to stay up to date with a bunch of free player methods just like this. If you like this video and you want to see more of them, there's a lot more of it coming, and of course, everything I showcase on the channel is free, so just subscribe and you'll stay up to date. So bang, there we go. Now we can do another 90 overall player set. I think the one that I kind of want is I kind of want this Aiden Hutchinson, man. I could use another good pass rusher coming off the edge. I could use an upgrade at right end. This card's pretty good. Really good pass rushing moves, good speed, good excel, and it's not like I'm even spending that many coins on this card. I'm getting this card for a very reduced price. It's like 20,000 coins to get this player. So as you guys can see, we now have the 3 90s that we needed, and we're gonna complete this Derwin James set right here. Remember, we spent about like 570, but honestly, we probably spent closer to like 585k to do this set, and we're selling this card off for about 570k. Now, after tax, of course, we're not getting 570k back. That's where the spending 20k coins per player kind of comes into effect. But the way this method kind of works is we spend about 580k to get this Derwin James card right now, and we're going to sell him off for about 560k, which after tax is going to be giving us about 510 to 520k. And that very simply means that we're basically spending 60,000 coins to get ourselves those 90 overall players, which per player is about 20k per card. This is a method that I would say everyone should be doing, because yeah, when we go on over to our binder right here, you guys will see the most feared players that we did just obtain are now going to be BND cards in the binder. So if I wanted to, I could quick sell this Mike Gesicki for 625 training. It's not a ton. I can use Shaquille Griffin, I can use Aiden Hutchinson, and yeah, that's gonna do it for me. If you enjoyed this video and you want to check out another guide to getting some totally free players in most feared, click on the screen, and until next time, I'm out. Peace.